Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. LaWanda, how
Good
are you?
morning. I am wonderful. How are you this morning, Lady Lucy?
I am amazing now that I'm here with the honor and the privilege of speaking to you, taking time out of your busy schedule to share with us. Thank you so much.
I would be anywhere else.
Oh, I know people are wondering, like, who is LaWanda Baker? So I'm gonna give them a little insight. How about that?
Okay.
So LaWanda is a woman of faith. She is family focused. She is a designer and entrepreneur. She offers various professional and creative services in the areas of consulting, brand development, brand management, logo design, ad campaigns, Zoom hosting, stock photography, and don't forget about the professional travel planning. She has designed for entities like the Magic Johnson Foundation, Junior Achievement of Southern California, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, the Birmingham Zoo, Middle Tennessee State University, Vulcan Park and Museum, the McWane Science Center here in Birmingham, Alabama, the Atlanta Journal Constitution, Momentum Leaders of Alabama, the World Games, and last but certainly not least, Destination Loading with Lucy.
Yeah.
My God, my God. You, my friend, are a very busy lady. Tell us about that.
Well, first of all, I'm trying to read. I'm listening. I'm like, who is that? She sounds real good on paper. No, but no. First of all, I definitely want to say thank you for having me here. I remember when this was just a dream, an idea, a concept, a seed, and so I'm really excited that you have planted that seed that is growing and flourishing. And yes, I have had well over 20 some odd years, maybe more than that by now. I try to lose count so I don't reveal my age too bad of graphic design experience. And
Mhm,
it has really been what I call it's a blessing.
mhm,
We all are familiar with those things that God gives us, and to everybody else it looks spectacular. To you, you just like, well, it's just something I do. That's how you know when it is your gift. And
mhm.
so I'm just very grateful for that gift. I'm grateful for all of those opportunities. You reading back some of those things, it's like, oh, it taking me back. I was like, oh, I remember when I did that. I remember when I did that.
Yeah.
And so moving forward, of course, I'm doing that for myself now as my own entity.
Wonderful, amazing. Oh my goodness. So you obviously reiterated the fact that you are a woman of faith in all of that. So how has your faith walk taken you several places on your current journey?
Well, to be honest, Lucy, it literally is all about faith.
Mm,
Um, there would be no walk without it. I've often say that faith is like a muscle. You have
mhm,
to exercise it, just like your glutes and your abs. If you don't exercise that thing, it will get flabby, right? Your faith walk is the same way. You have to exercise it. And with every exercise, it's usually a push, it's usually a challenge. Challenges in the form of loss, like you say, challenges in the form of struggle. But with every struggle, there grows a greater level of strength. I've had to really step out on faith and do some things for myself personally,
mhm,
professionally, spiritually. So
mhm.
there would be no walk without it.
I remember when we were talking, when I reached out to you and to have this conversation, you was like, Lucy, what do I have that people want to hear? What can I talk about? So I just ran down a list of things off the top, and you were like, wow, yeah. And I think that's so important because a lot of times we don't see ourselves like other people see us. And more importantly, sometimes we don't see ourselves like God sees us.
Mm,
And
mm.
so um, I'm thankful and grateful to you for accepting the invitation so that other people can witness what I saw and see in you. And one of those things, which I know is very near and dear to your heart, involves your little daughter. who's not so little anymore.
Right.
So, and I watched you through the years intentionally parent her. So, how did you do that so she would value herself without the limitations life tries to put on you, and know that she can be and accomplish whatever she wants to be in life?
Oh, that's a good question. Intentional parenting. Again, it goes back to faith,
Mm,
because our kids. My mom always taught me this, that our kids are really not our own. Nothing's our own.
mm,
They are just gifts from God. They are on loan to us. So when you think about that, and you think about the charge that God puts on your life to be a parent, and the responsibility that he endows you with, and when you think about that child as something, as a gift, your walk has to be intentional, because you have to be a good steward over that life. And like I said, a lot of my my faith came from doing what I knew I had to do for her. Some of you may know me as a single parent. Some people don't know. They probably know me as a single parent so long they don't ever know I was married. I was married for over 9 years. But, as we all know, sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes things just don't work out. I hear a lot of times people say, well, I stayed for my kids. But sometimes, depending on the situation, you may have to leave for your kids.
mm,
And when you do that, and when you recognize that, you're taking a real big leap of faith. You're very intentional, because now, and I don't like to hear people say, I'm mama and daddy. No, you're not
mm-hmm,
just mama, or you're just daddy. You're a single parent. God made me to be a mother. That's all I am. I'm not a father too. But I had to do things to make sure that she was well rounded,
mm-hmm,
that growing up with a single mother didn't define her life as some would stereotypically design that.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
and one of the things that I always made sure to do was to encourage her spiritually. My baby she's about to be 20 next
Wow.
month. I know, isn't that amazing?
I know.
I know you remember when she was like 2 running around in church.
I know. I looked at a picture recently when she was at, I think, Brittany's 13th birthday party. And she was
Yes,
almost, maybe 4 max.
the only baby in the room, always, right?
Right.
But I had to intentionally instill faith within her. We teach our kids to do everything. We teach them to walk, talk, drink, and everything, but sometimes we don't teach them how to be an adult. And
Mm,
a part of that is developing them as children, so that when they become adults, they're functioning and they're strong. And to see her faith at this age, it's almost scary. Like I said, I know that I had some to do with it, but I credit everything to God. So pouring into her, so that she has the faith to define herself as God defines her, and not by what other people say. That was an intentional move. And also from the standpoint of business, she has seen me as a graphic designer for all these years, but I took a leap of faith and I started a travel business 8 years ago. And
mm-hmm.
so that was a very strong move. So now she has seen me on a different entrepreneurial journey. And because of some of the things that she has seen me do, she's going to be a business major. Her desire is she wants to get 3 degrees. She says she's going to be 3 degrees hotter when she leaves school. Leave
Yes,
it to Layla,
baby.
right? Leave it to Layla.
Yes,
But
yes.
I love seeing her growth. Faith walk, leaving Alabama, coming to Orlando, Florida. Yes, I have sisters here, I have family here. But after 18 years in one place, Lucy, I had to dig that thing up hard. It was hard to uproot.
Right.
But I knew that I wanted her to have a larger pot to grow in. And we talked about
Mm,
on the
mm,
call. We know she's going to blossom wherever she's planted, because
right.
she's just touched. God has touched her. She's a winner. But to be able to plant her in a larger pot,
Yes.
more room to extend her roots and her blossoms. So it definitely has been a journey, and one that I would not trade for the world.
Oh my God. That putting her in a making moves so that she can be placed in a bigger pot.
Yes.
That's a powerful statement to me. Because if you know anything about raising plants, as they grow, right, and their roots get larger, they need more space, because
Mm,
if you don't, you stifle that growth.
that's right.
And so moving her to a bigger pot so she can blossom and bloom bigger. Oh my God, Wanda, that is
She'll
powerful.
orange blossom. She'll orange blossom here in
Yes,
Florida.
yes, yes. And so one of the things you just mentioned was being a single parent
Hmm.
and being married. One thing I do know about you, and anybody that knows you knows this is true, how important your father was to you in your life, in
Hmm.
your family dynamics, in Layla's, life growing up. And
Hmm.
so how did you find the strength to keep going when you lost him?
That that was really tough, and I have to tell you too. I have to set up a little bit of how that all happened.
Hmm.
I'm used to seeing my dad strong, and a lot of people don't know he was almost 90 years old when he passed. 90,
Wow.
90. That's a long life, an amazing life. And he didn't get, sometimes people go through seasons of sickness and illness and suffering and decline. I didn't see that, you
Hmm.
know. My mom said, yeah, he's getting a little bit, here and there. But, we had the pandemic.
Hmm.
So for a year there, a little more than a year, I really stayed away from home because of all of the pandemic, the advisories. I touched base. He learned how to do Zoom. Oh my gosh, he had his first Father's Day on Zoom. He was all up in the camera like,
I love it. I
I
love
think
it.
I still have that recording on my phone, on my computer. Oh my goodness, that was so funny. But to have not seen him for a couple of years almost, and then to go home and realize, oh, you know what I mean? It's like this is not the same
Yeah.
Baker that I've seen him with.
Hmm.
I can remember when my mom told us the news that, the doctors had given him that prognosis, and I immediately, as she was telling us, I was on the telephone. I was like, she's like, "Are you there?" I'm like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm." And she didn't know I was packing a bag, just packing a bag. I was like, I don't care what pandemic, I'm going home. And I prayed on the way there, and I was like, God, if you just let me see him,
Mm.
because they always give the 6 month, all that kind of thing. I was like, if you just let me see him, Lord, I'll be okay with whatever happens afterward.
Mm.
Little did I know that 6 months was going to be 6 days.
Lord have mercy.
I really wasn't okay.
Yeah.
But I had to live up because I felt that I had made God a promise, because he kept his promise to me.
Oh,
Lucy, he kept his promise to me.
that's right.
I could have waited 7 days to go home,
Mm.
but he let me see him.
Yes.
So I had to be strong because God was too faithful to me. He has been,
Mm.
but even in that moment, he was too faithful to me for me to fall apart, for me to lose faith,
Mm-hmm.
for me to be sad. And so I had to think about, you know, God left more than he took.
Girl, God left more
Yeah.
than he took. Please expound on that.
The memories,
Mm.
teaching, the who I am,
Wow.
the who my family is, my sisters, my brother, my grandchild, I mean my child, my mama's grandchildren. God left more than he took. So I had to find a place to be grateful for that. How many people can say parents lived 90 years?
Yeah. Because I can raise my hand and say that I can't. I thank God that my father's still here. He's 76, but my
Right,
mom died in 2014.
right.
So, and for what you just said is so powerful. God left more than he took.
He did.
That will stick with me for the rest of my days, because that is, I mean, it's so true, but it's about perspective,
It
right?
is.
It's
Right.
about perspective. And I can somewhat relate. I mean, about being, I can relate to the part about being concerned about your father's
Mhm.
health.
Mhm.
And because I had a similar situation where I literally drove out of 24 hours I was driving for 18 of them to go and see about my dad, to spend maybe 3 hours with him to get back. And I left with intentions of staying for like a week. But when I got there and I had prayed 4:30 in the morning, I walk in in the hospital, they like, ma'am, visiting hours at 8 a.m. Well, honestly,
Not today, right?
this is the situation. Can you call somebody? Yeah. And so and when my dad woke up and realized I was there and talking to him, and he said, and this will stick with me forever too. He said to me that I know God is able to deliver me. But just like the Hebrew boys, even if he don't, I
Mm.
know that he's able. And when I tell you, that gave me a level of peace, I guess similar to your um, understanding that God had been faithful in your request,
Mhm.
and understanding that for you, He left more than He took away.
Yep.
And one day we all have to leave, right? And so I want to maintain that perspective in every loss. God left more than He took away. You blessed me with that. If we end right now, I'm good.
and,
I mean, oh my God.
and Lucy, not only that perspective of anyone that you lose, it changed my perspective of my legacy. I want to leave more. I want someone, when I'm gone, I want to have left so much in this world that
Yes.
it will be hard to
Woo!
miss me.
That, my friend. Girl, we can have church on that. You did that. You did that.
Yeah.
So I guess my next question is a little irrelevant, but we go go ahead and expound. So wow, all the things you've shared thus far and through the loss, and you just answered it really. You want to make sure that your footprint on the earth is so powerful that you can't be forgotten.
Mhm.
So my question though is, how did you build a successful business and manage through all of that and keep while life is lifing?
Well, and I have to be on, because sometimes, uh, no, nobody ever has a testimony without a test. But
Yes.
oftentimes we don't tell the test. And to be perfectly honest, we're all still going through a test. It
Hmm.
just changes daily. That successful business or stepping out and being an entrepreneur, part of that stepping out, I'm just gonna be honest, was a boot out. It was a get up out.
Yes. Tell
It
the
wasn't
truth.
just like I was just I said, well, Lord, I would like a successful. I would, yeah. And it's kind of like, well, I'm just gonna jump on out there. No, part of it I have to tell you, I got fired. Your girl got fired.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Yes, 2019. I will never forget. I walked into that office that day and they said, "Ma'am, you no longer needed." What? I've been a graphic designer like all my life. At that point, well, like I said, 20 some odd years more experience. Let's just keep it real. I'm 51. I'm 51 years old. So I started my first job when I was in my early 20s as a graphic designer. I have never been told that I was not needed or no longer useful to that organization. That hurt. That hurt. But it was like, okay, so what you gonna do though? What you gonna do? There's no choice but to keep moving.
Yes.
Because if you stop moving, you stop growing, and then I gotta remember, God gave me a gift. You might have took my job, but you can't take my gift because God gave that to me.
Yes.
So my gift will make room for me. One of our mentors always says that. always says in the travel business, we have a whole lot of mentors. It's a network marketing opportunity. So there's a lot of mindset and development there. And one of our mentors always says, your gift will make room for you. And that's exactly what it did.
Mm-hmm.
So some of those jobs that you mentioned, I got after I was let go.
Say that.
The
Oh
world
my God.
after I was let go.
Wow.
Yep.
LaWanda, we hadn't caught up in some years.
We go back to
But I didn't know what you just shared. And I didn't know that we had that too in common. Well, what in my situation, right? They wanted my position for someone else. So they say my position has been is no longer that's not that position is no longer available. And then they created this litany of documentation to try to say I wasn't performing, but that wasn't the truth, right? It wasn't the truth. But what that did for me, right? And then we're not gonna let you go, but we're gonna offer you this other job. You'll make the same money, but we're gonna put you over here in this training department so you can teach people. The underperformer need to teach the people how to do what she does.
oh my
Okay, but see, that's why you have to have faith and
God.
understand that what the enemy meant for evil, God turned it around and made it for your good.
That's
So,
right.
to your point, if I had not, and you know what God told me?
Hmm.
God in heaven is my witness. He said, your season in Alabama is up. No plan, no money, no job, lots of bills. Lord, what you talking? This don't make no sense.
It never makes sense. I was about to say it never it never makes sense.
And then I didn't know where I was going. I mean, when I tell you I was living off of the word daily, Lord, okay, Lord, what we doing today? I tried to apply for jobs in Alabama. Nobody would even interview me. Well educated, well
Oh,
experienced, but
see?
you know, so I end up in Virginia. And I was there for 7 years, almost 7 years to the day. God told me to go back home.
Wow.
And I didn't
Years.
understand why, right? But I had to come back better than I left so I could understand that nobody can mute who I am in the earth. My voice cannot be muted in the earth, not until God says so. So until God tells me to stop speaking, no, ma'am, no, sir. But I needed all of that, right? This Bible says that it was good for me that I was afflicted. It was good for us that we were afflicted,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was good for us that they didn't want us no more
Mm-hmm.
in many ways than one, right?
Right.
Because if we had stayed in that comfortable environment, we wouldn't be the women of God that we are today.
Sometimes God puts you in a bigger pot.
Woo!
He will put you in a bigger pot.
Oh my goodness, this is so good. Yes, and do the
Oh,
replanting. He does the replanting.
right. Right.
LaWanda
Oh,
Baker.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that about you either. I didn't know that. See,
Mm-mm.
that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we talk about our testimonies, but we forget to tell people about our tests. And we have to get past the test
Right.
because we don't want the woe. The word says that we're not supposed to present ourselves with a low countenance. You're supposed to be uplifting to people. And
Yes.
sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get past that test. And I don't know who needs to hear this today, but somebody out there, we all going through something. And if you're not, just keep going because you're about to hit it. Right.
Okay.
But whatever you're going through at this moment, understand that all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. His plans, and this is my mama's favorite scripture. Don't let me misquote. I know it's in Jeremiah, but the plans are to prosper us,
Yes.
to not hurt us.
Yes.
So just keep going. Whoever out there need to hear that, just keep going.
Well, thank you for that word of encouragement because we definitely want to speak to the viewers so they understand that they're not in it alone. And
Right.
we all we clean up well, we look good on the
Right.
outside, like you said, but
Oh,
that's what the Bible tells us to do.
that's
We're not supposed to walk around with a low countenance.
right. Mm-mm.
So, where can people find you um, after this? If they want to connect with you after this, how can they find you?
Well, I'm on Facebook. I am on Facebook, LaWanda Baker. I don't have one of those cute names like L Boogie Booty Papa. I'm just LaWanda Baker on Facebook. You'll see this face unaltered. It's just me. So you can find me right there. I also have a graphic design web page that is LB Graphic Designs. You can see that.
Mhm.
And then of course, if you're interested in any of my services as far as graphic design, as far as the corporate travel planning, or even learning how you can become an entrepreneur on your own through any of the services that I offer, please, you can always inbox me, reach me there. If you go on my Facebook page, there's a link, a Calendly link right up top, and you can always make an appointment with me to talk. So I'm available.
And that was just to make sure that was lbgraphicdesigns.com.
Right.
Okay,
My
we
website is lawandabaker.com.
okay, let's get that right.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna put that.
lawandabaker.com.
Yeah, so people can see it. WandaBaker.com.
Right. That's me. And there are links to my Facebook page and other social medias there as well.
All right, there it is, y'all. LaWandaBaker.com for all of your graphic design needs and more. Well, this has been amazing. And to our listeners and viewers, if you've been blessed by this conversation, please don't forget to like, share, and follow Lucy or at Destination with Lucy on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, right? Or if you need some of my professional services, you can visit realtimesolutions.com/destination loading with Dina and Lucy. Well, my friend, this has been amazing. Thank you so very much. I learned some more about you just as the listeners were learning as well. And I just want to say to everyone, thank you for tuning in. Have a safe and great weekend.
Thank
See you all next Freedom Friday with Destination Loading with Lucy.